Okay, welcome to our Halloween lace ornament. When you get ready to paint your ornament, you can decide if you need this string on or not. I am not going to leave my string on. Sometimes they come with really attractive ones, and in this case I think I can take this or lose it. Take it or lose it, take it or leave it. And then, let me show you some tips. What we're going to do is we're going to paint this lace pattern on this gold ball. These balls are available on the website. So anyway, so I'm going to show you some basics about this, and what I want to talk about too today is I've got a brand new DVD out that is called Designing Lace Ornaments for Fun and Profit, and when you order that one you get the Lace Techniques DVD as well. That way they're just both combined, and then you get the best of both worlds. But what I'm going to do is just kind of show you how much fun this can be. We've got some new ornament stands. You can pre-order if it's before September 15th. You can pre-order about 35 colors of ornaments. My favorite ornament size is the 4-inch size because 4 inches is big enough to look rich, and 3 inches just looks cheesy. It looks like something you pick up at Walmart, and 4-inch looks much more, sorry Walmart, but you know what I mean. It looks like a discount type bulb. I love these rich colors. You need a matte ornament. You can use a shiny ornament, but it's very difficult to mark. So you'd have to use like a vis-a-vis or something like that to paint on, or to mark a shiny ornament, and then you'd have to use glass paint because you need something for it to stick to, the paint to stick to. Okay, one of my favorite ways to hold an ornament besides a stand is an empty tape dispensers. This is a Scotch tape roll, and that just sits right on in there. You can use a cup and stuff. Here's my tissue box, my Q-tip box, and that's okay, but the taller you get, the more tilty you get. And if you use like a plastic cup, I have seen over and over again, they're so flimsy, I've seen people tip them, the balls roll off the table and smash. Okay, so you want to make sure you use something with a little bit of weight at the bottom of it. A few things that you'll need are your photograph, and I really enjoy putting my photograph right at eye level when I'm painting lace, because I want to be able to look at this. When you paint lace, you don't really transfer pattern. You use two visual things, two visual cues. You're going to use your paper pattern, and then you're going to use your picture for placement. Okay, so you're going to use both of those. It's a good idea. This thing right here is our 3-arm bandit. It clips right on the edge of your water basin or your brush bin, and you can put, you can put your picture. You can put another picture if you've got it, and you can even bend this little dude this way and get your pattern up off your table so it's right at eye level as well. And then clip that all together. So it is very handy because it has the 3 arms. Oh, and then a little tip, if they loosen up on you, you just rotate it back around, and then they tighten back up. So if you get that little loosing thing, they can be tightened right back up by just rotating them. Some other basic supplies you're going to need are some gloss varnish. For this project, black paint, but normally when we paint lace, we paint it in like a one color of something, which in this case is black, but a lot of times it'll be cream or white or something like that. We have stick erasers in a variety of colors, and bonus of all bonus, they make an irritating clicking noise. So if your husband is making you irritated that day, you can just click away. Or, somebody in class that you just want to get to. I'm just teasing. No, they're fun to play with. But they do come in colors, so you can specify the color that you want. You're going to need some glitter. You can use we do not carry the color glitter on our website. We do carry sparkle glaze on our website, which is a white fine glitter. In this case, we're going to use probably just black today. But the purple looks fantastic on this project. As well, so if you want to introduce another color, then the purple glitter is good. I got both of these at Michael's. They carry glitter and colors at all craft stores, so just get a color that you like. And actually, what I have, let me share. Those bins way back in Tool TV #1 that I shared that were from IKEA. Let me widen this out a little bit. I have a glitter box, actually a lace ornament box is really what it is. And I have collected different kinds of glitter in various and sundry colors, and extra containers in case I need to mix glitters or share when I'm in a class. That works awesome. It's got my sparkle glaze, it's got my gloss varnish, it's got all of that stuff, and then when I need to, and I've got to go teach a class or something, I can just grab this whole thing and I know I'm all set. So anyway, if you get, a glitter box all together, then you can actually, you'll have all your different colors. And there's nothing like having a really pretty gold. Actually, this would probably be gorgeous to put like a gold glitter on top of a gold ornament. So do play around. Do not use red on black unless you want to look like that little special house in Texas, the little, you know what I'm talking about. The black on the red looks like a old Western lady of the evening gown. And I know this because I made an ornament in black and red for my son's girlfriend when she was 16 years old. And when I got done, she was all excited, but I was terrified at what it looked like. So be careful with your color combinations with the lace. It can get out of hand. You want to use a yellow, magical yellow monster marking tool. You can use a soapstone, but soapstones can have rocks in them. And so it's a cheap alternative, but these are much finer for ornaments. They're my favorite marking tool. And then I use, of course, my Raphael quill. This is when the rubber meets the road, and this is when you want a really fine liner with an excellent length. So the Mighty Fine liner would work just fine for this. I prefer the quill, but Mighty Fine is the one that's your everyday kind of brush. So either or, whichever one you're happy with is fine. Let's see. I think you're going to need your glasses. And what I do when I am painting ornaments is I usually will paint 3 at one time. And then I hang them on ornament hangers. I don't happen to have 3 of the orange ones in front of me. But I hang them on ornament hangers, and then that's the perfect amount of drying time for each one is by the time I get done with the first one and go all the way through, the first one is dry when I'm done with number 3. So 3 is a really good working thing. Let's see, let's get started. Okay, the very first thing we're going to do is lay our yellow tracing paper over the top. It can be any tracing paper. I prefer the yellow because look how clear that is. What you're going to do when you're doing lace is you're going to look for the dot points. This is how we're going to transfer. Freehand is an F word, and we do not want to be freehanding. Okay, so we're going to look for the dot points that we're going to trace and connect, and then we're going to connect those dot points. So I'm going to just trace that off at first. I think it's really helpful for you to see what process is from the very beginning. It's easy to get lost the first time, so just start and go slow. Okay, and so I'm going to put that down, and we'll start with those points. So you can see that I have, the first thing that I have is I have 1, 2, 3, 4, hang on, let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 points. The easy way that we're going to do this is we're going to go kitty corner and across from each other. Okay, and we're not going to do the points out here first. We're going to do these inside points. Okay, and we've got to be careful. This has got a lot of detail on it. I'm a little bit nervous about how big that's going to be. No, that's probably going to be about right. You've got to adjust for your size of your ornament. Okay, so if you're on a small ornament, leave some of the little details off because you don't want it to get too futzy. And I do think that I want my spider web and my bat and moon details to be more prominent, so I will probably make this area a little bit less prominent. So the very first thing, my center is almost to those dots, right? So I wonder how many of these there are. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Okay. So, as I move everything around. Okay, so we're going to start here, right next to the neck. And I'm just going to make a little dot. Can you see that? Then I'm going to go, and I'm always looking at this, and this is like, you guys are my eyes, right? Always looking at it straight down at it. So I have to turn this so I can see what I'm doing. And I'm going to, let's see, I'm on this side. Now I'm going to go right over opposite of it and put a dot right over opposite. So obviously, I'm going to rotate that. I'm going to make a dot right in between, right at the neck base, and then right opposite. Okay, and so now I have 4 dots. Okay, now I've got to fit 2 more sets of dots. All right, so 1 more set of dots. in between those. It's really easy to estimate them when you're looking straight down at it. Okay. When you make a mistake, all you have to do is get out your click eraser and gently erase. And these take the dots right off the ornament and they don't hurt the ornament. Okay, did I get all my dots? So now I'm going to count them 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Perfect. Okay, then the next thing I have to estimate is how far that is. If we're using our see-through graph ruler, we can see that that's exactly 1/2 inch. And you could go on here and mark your first one at 1/2 inch, you know, and those need to be in between those other ones. Okay, so now I've made this little triangle set of dots. Now you're not going to go any further than the first set of these dots. And you're going to go same thing back over to this other side, approximately 1/2 inch, rotate it around. Okay, now I've got my 4 north, south, east, and west dots. You want to adjust these for closeness. You want to make sure that you're about the same radius around. And then we're going to immediately paint those lines. We don't want to get any further out than we are already with this because this is so many lines. Like, this is a mess, right? We don't want to do that. Normally, when I all of my lace patterns actually don't have all of this detail. Let me see if I can grab there's another lovely thing that you can pick up, which is the Beginner's Guide to Painting Lace. If you're maybe a little bit more want to see close-ups and a lot of pictures, then this is a great book. They, in their particular case, they color-coded all of the dots and things that you're going to do. And then they describe, they have a little, like they've got structure dots. That's what I call these dots that we're doing right now, structure dots. And then we've got structure lines, which is the skeleton of the thing. This cross-hatching and the spider webbing and things like that, that is decoration. So that is, oh, and let me show you. In the book, what we did with this book, Leisure Arts asked me to do this, oops, and throw my remote on the table. And first of all, what they did is they came up with an awesome step-by-step visual and walking through the whole thing, and just shows all the steps. But they started really, really easy. This is my granddaughter, Emily. And so we started with the really simple, anybody can do it, so great for like if you're teaching in senior centers or, you know, Girl Scout troops, this would be fantastic for them. It's quick, it's easy, these are little hearts glued on. You know, it's just a very simple thing. And we've got purse, card box, you've got your little potpourri lid, that could be a mayonnaise jar. This one lives in my kitchen. This is actually a night light, not a lamp lid, but they put it on a lamp. And it's chicken lace. It's eggs, and these are lace chickens, which is kind of fun. Butterflies on a vase. It's just a frosted vase. And then we get more with the Delft on the lace, and we paint it on a candle. And then just a little goodie box. And then 3 of the ornaments. But when they get into the ornaments, they really go, oh, and everything has awesome step-by-steps. When they get in the ornaments, that's where they really shined as far as putting those structure dots and everything in there. Alright, the very first thing you're going to want to do is get your liner brush wet and then drop some water down in front of the puddle of paint. Gail Orm's video on using the liner brush, it would be excellent to watch and refresh yourself. On the website we've got how to improve your line work, and then we also have on the how to paint lace, which comes with the designing lace for fun and profit. I go through improving your line work and improving your stroke work as well, so you get all of those. And you need glasses because lace is tiny. Okay, so we bring our ornament over here, and what we're going to do, when you do this, you want to anchor on your ornament when you're painting. Don't try to like lean your hand on the table and do stuff. And then what you're going to do, the neat thing about this, people say, oh, I can't paint lace. Oh, and the one thing you really don't want is your ferrule wet, because that makes it very hard to control your brush. people say, oh, I can't do that, oh, I can't do that, but that's not true. You can, because all you have to be able to do is make a short line from there to there. That's all you need to do. Okay, notice here that I'm beating up just a little bit. Some ornaments have just a little bit more polish to them. The way that you resolve that is you add a little bit less water to your brush, and you can use, in this case, I'm going to get a wet Q-tip and just take off the part that's still moist. So you use less water, which is a little slightly thicker paint, and then no beating up. Okay, so I'll just make those lines all the way around. And generally what I do is I'll add, when I do stuff like this, I will add the, what was I going to say? Sorry. Generally speaking, I will add commas and things like that to my lines after, just to see what kind of jazz I can add. Okay, that line seems to be a little bit too far away, so I'm going to adjust as I go. The neat thing about this is I can adjust as I go. It does not need to be exact points. Things are going to, not points, we can use dots and things like that. Oh, we have a neat new tool that I'll show you. Dots will line all these things up and it will muddy everything so you really can't see what is going on. I mean, it's like smoke and mirrors in a way. Alright, in this particular case, I went and got out a bottle of gloss enamels. And I am going to use that for my black instead. I'm not thinning it. It's coming off nice and thin. I'm not eating it. Of course, I have a nice thin brush too. Because of the beading, these ornaments are cheaper. That doesn't mean they're trash. It just means they're cheaper. They come from China, which is going to be, of course, different than the Polish blown ornaments. The ornaments that I usually, well, the ones that I love, and you can't hardly get them anymore, are Polish, and they're amazing. They're just not very readily available. I do have several on the website. They just have a limited palette of colors. So I'm just re-going over those lines because I do like the gloss look of this. On the Polish blown ones, there is no repair time, so you want to be aware of that. And you want to, if you're going to use your nice quill, you want to make sure you rinse your brush out frequently because enamels dry a little bit differently and harder. So you don't want to wreck your $30 or $40 brush. This might be a good time to say, okay, if you're afraid, just get the Mighty Fine Liner and use that. Okay, so there we sit. I've got this. Now the instructions on the gloss enamels say to use alcohol and wipe off your surface, but I didn't do that because I'm not worried about that. When I'm done, I'll go through, because I want to make sure the paint's dry, I will go through and erase my dots that didn't quite line up. Okay. Notice they're not perfect, but notice that we don't care, and also notice that you can't see the other side of the ornament when you look at that side. That's very, very key, because if you have a bad spot here, just hang it on your tree this way. Okay. Okay, so it's moving right along. Isn't it nice to solve these problems together? So we have our pattern, and we have our... Please don't let this project get anal on you. Don't try to measure things and be like that, okay? Because it doesn't do you any darn good. The next dot that we're going to drop is going to be the one that's in between the V's. And it is a little bit longer away. It is, and it's, we're just going to worry about that dot. That curve itself is going to be an arched curve, but we won't worry about that right now. Okay, so we'll drop those dots in between all of those V's. See, now that we've connected those, we can see, whoops, now that we've connected those, we can see that we need to go down in between that point right there. We wouldn't do it at the end point. We can see that it's inside the high part of the V. Alright, that being said, we will add our dots in between all of those. Okay, and remember we're going to look at it straight down. Okay, and you know, I'm going to hike mine up, not just, but a little bit over the amount that I did. And then we're going to go here, and you know, actually, now they're a little bit dropped down. Where is, a little bit dropped down from these two V points, So we want this to be so that it has to reach up and will arch over. All right, and I've got to look down at it. Okay. This is just a real good way to get like an eagle eye glance at how even you are. Now, say you have a student or you are a person who doesn't have a very steady hand. I've had women in my classes who had, you know, different physical ailments and things like that. I want to get rid of my extra dots before I get any further. You don't have to have a steady hand to do this. You can do the whole ornament with dots if you want to. We've had them do them with pearls, like dots that looked like they were pearls on there, and they never made a line. They never made a line stroke at all, and they turned out awesome. So don't feel like you have to be, you know, Madame Liner Brush Queen or something like that. Okay, now what you're going to do when you're on your ornament, let me get in closer. Alright, yeah, there you go. Hey, now you can see, huh? Now what you're going to do is you're going to arch that line in as deep an arch as you can get. Oops. And I can't line worth crap when I'm on my ornament, but boy, I can paint a straight line. So the flow of the brush versus that angle that I've got when I'm pulling the hairs seems to just make all the difference in the world. Okay, so oh, that one's way off, so we'll just eyeball that one a little bit spread out, but it can look okay. Okay, now we look at it and we see, whoops, let's get you on there. Yeah, it's tighter on one side and looser on the other, but you know what, I don't care. I think that's going to be fine. It's not going to be too, if I can get it on there straight, oh, dyslexia. Anyway, so now what we'll do is we'll make all of those lines. Now we could get fancy, and we could drop, and maybe we will. Let's go ahead and do another dot right in between of all of these lines. So this is where our spider webs are going to be, and that's a big area, but I'm trying to make it so my bats and things will be up a little, so I'm cinching it up. I don't know. See, that's when you look straight. Let's see, get you straight on there. When you look straight on there, I don't know if you can see it or not. This one is way up. Okay, that's not going to do. So if you get it, if you measure it to here and you don't eyeball it to here and here, then what's going to happen is you're going to end up with like things that just do not look good. Okay, so gotta eyeball it, approximate it. Okay, now I'm going to spin it around and see if I have anything remarkably high or low. Okay, I think that's probably about right. Now these guys right here, what's going to happen to here is, oh, we have a middle point. Okay, I'm not going to go there. I'm going to get this first line done. So, I'm going to get into my enamel paint, shape a point. Now, what you do when you're doing this, let's go back out a little bit wide. You anchor your hand on your ornament, another good argument for having a bigger size ornament. Anchor it on there, and then you just one line at a time. Here's where I messed up that line. Not even going to worry about it. I'm just going to paint it straight. And then I'll erase that line. Oops. Okay, what happens when you allow your paintbrush to get too thick with paint is your line gets thicker. But because this is that little bit more durable bulb, that's okay. Okay. Okay, so go with that line, rinsing out my brush. If I was using thin black paint, I would just keep going and going. And thin black paint can work with your ornament, so you can try either the black enamel, the gloss enamel, or the other. Okay, so now we've got that confusion over with. We have got a big, old, long arch between the two of these, and maybe we'll go ahead and stick with that instead of being, maybe we won't. Well, I'm trying to decide. Oh, I'm not a very good decision maker. Let's maybe make this one a little bit higher. And so I'm going to drop down just like a 1/4 of an inch past my dot, and I want to make sure to do it kind of straight otherwise. And so I'm going to just estimate this so that it comes out kind of in little bubbles. The dots are keeping me estimated so that I don't mess up too bad. Oops. Whoa, go wonky off to the side there. Nice thing about this little eraser, don't have to worry about it. I want that one lower. Okay, so we've got those lines all the way across, and now we'll go ahead and line them. One by one. Now they're not very beautiful. Oops, they're not very beautiful, but I am going to make them beautiful with my liner brush. Not even going to worry about what they look like on there. You need to put a hair of water. That's not a normal thing you can do with enamel, but you need just a hair, since we're not going to be washing these bulbs or anything like that. Okay. Got a fairly even amount of space. Now I need to let this dry, and I am going to squish my brush. I'm going to let it dry, and I'm going to erase those lines. Alright, I have my lines all erased, and so now what we need to do is do our cross-hatching. Cross-hatching is easy to do, as long as you don't let it bug you. A lot of people let it bug them and then they don't get it and then they're all worried and yada yada yada. Okay, so I am looking at, let's see. So what we're going to do, what are we going to do? Okay, we know that these are going to be dots. Okay, descending dots. So those are easy. So now we have this V area right here where we are. Oops. So we look at this. Now our V doesn't drop down quite as much. Oops, I don't think you can see it, huh? Our V doesn't drop down as much, so we're going to we're going to follow one of those lines of the V, and we're going to make cross-hatching lines in that little kind of U shape, and then we're going to flip it over and we're going to follow the other side, and that's going to fill that with cross-hatching. Okay, so that is super simple, and do not make these lines because you've got this line to follow, But if you make those lines, you're going to be nervous and they're going to look yucky. So make sure you just go ahead and freehand this puppy. I know that that's stressful, but do it anyway. I'm adding just a little bit of water in my paint. You want to do this from the angle that's going to make you feel the most comfortable. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead on here. I'm not going to pay any attention to those lines. Probably going to hit every one of them because I'm not paying attention. Be on your tippy point of your brush. No pressure, or very little pressure. Okay, flip your brush, your project over. Actually, it's better to wait until they're all dry. So do all one directions first. All the other directions second. Okay, and so we'll just go from side to side. And then as it gets awkward, we'll just, now see, look how terrible that is. I mean, like, really, that is really bad. But watch when we finish it. Now, you want to do the best you can, obviously. When we finish it, and we dot all those cross sections, you can't tell what a crappy job I did. Okay, so, you know, this is not certification results. This is simply having fun with lace ornaments with dots and lines. Okay, so this is easy stuff. Okay, so we'll go. Again, now this one I've got a little off center over here, but we're not going to care about that either. If you need to put your dots in first, you could do that. You do want to wait till they're dry. That takes a long time, so I don't put dots in first. I do those last. Ooh, thick. Be careful about thick stuff. Okay, and it starts building, so now you can see that we've got our cross hatching. Okay, I'm going to finish the rest of these off camera because I've got a lot of them to do. A few things that you'll need are your photograph, and I really enjoy putting my photograph right at eye level when I'm painting lace, because I want to be able to look at this. When you paint lace, you don't really transfer pattern. You use two visual things, two visual cues. You're going to use your paper pattern, and then you're going to use your picture for placement. Okay, so you're going to use both of those. It's a good idea. This thing right here is our 3-arm bandit. It clips right on the edge of your water basin or your brush bin, and you can put, you know, you can put your picture, you can put another picture if you've got it, and you can even bend this little dude this way and get your pattern up off your table so it's right at eye level as well. And then clip that all together. So it is very handy because it has the 3 arms. Oh, and then a little tip, if they loosen up on you, you just rotate it back around, and then they tighten back up. So if you get that little loosing thing, they can be tightened right back up by just rotating them. Okay, so I began sketching. I've got my lines on there and they're drying. Began sketching. This is where you want to be careful about touching up here if you're wet up there. What we're going to do is on this low point right here, we are going to sketch a moon shape that cups up just a little bit. So it used to one side. And where they start getting close, like this is far away, and maybe this moon can get just a little bit smaller to make up that difference. I'm going to get my bat on there, and I like where he's at. Let's see. Be a little confident moon going that way. Okay. Anyway, then this is going to come off of here, and it's going to arch under my moon. Maybe I've got my bat way too darn big. Drop my bat head. And then, so then we've got that little U. So I made an arch this way, and you can see it right on here. And this is a better case. Now I trace these things as I see them, and that's on flat, but a nice smooth arch, okay, and it says it should touch up there, but that's what we did wrong. See how we are? It's got a long drop in the middle, so this one is correct, this one is incorrect. I stuffed it in there, stuffed an extra one, so you got to be careful with your eye. what you're seeing. Now I can stretch my moon back out. That's what we love about the soapstone, the click erasers, is when you erase that stuff right on off of there. Okay, so we can move him back out. Maybe that's not right either. And like I said, don't worry about how you have him. Okay, now he's going to come off this point. A nice round shape. Sorry about that. Now I want to make sure I'm keeping it lower like that, and I think he needs to swing down just a little bit. Okay, now from that one to that one gets a C stroke, C shape. And I want it to dip higher. Let's keep these lines pretty. Sketch softly. I'm kind of being a little bit rough with mine. Okay, then our bat head goes where that drop down is. And then he gets a little smile and then he arches nice and deep to each moon. Is he supposed to touch? No. I just touch the moon, and then he comes down, and then he comes to a point. So one arch, another arch. Okay, and I'll straighten that up when I draw it. So let's go ahead and finish these moons. Okay, same thing. Oops. Now these yellow pencils have, you want to keep your fingers out of your stuff there, they have refills. When you're tracing or sketching on floor cloths, they can eat up really quickly, so you would definitely want to get yourself a refill. Okay, then that goes over. Now see, that's very wonky. We don't like that at all. So I'll get rid of that one. I think maybe I didn't hit my V in the middle there. Okay, I'll bring that down in, bring that one down in, and then down. Gotta be looking at things straight, that's much better. Okay, and you'll see what I mean when we get a base cut. Hopefully you can see that. Okay, so we're halfway there, and whoopsie, we're halfway there. And it's a mess, but you can kind of see it taking shape. Okay, I'm going to trace the rest off camera. Alright, if you're happy with your lines, and once again I'm not worrying about my the beauty of everything. They're even or not even, that matters, but then we'll go ahead and base coat those lines in, and I'll take like probably 2 coats. So just use a small round brush. Basic line and straighten it out as you screw it up. I need to go this direction. Okay, it's definitely going to take 2 coats. We'll erase our white lines where we don't like them. And remember, these are going to get glittered, so these aren't going to matter. So everything, you flatten that brush inside your black paint. And then just do the bats exactly the same way. Okay, I've got my coats of paint on my moons, and I'm getting ready to start the bats, and I realize I've got a good tip for you. So I'll hold top and bottom now because the bat wings are wet. And then go ahead, because we want those points, outline the bat wings first. I've got to get my glasses fixed. I'm missing lines all over the place. Anyway, outline it first, and then you'll have nice big points. See what I just did? I put my finger right in the middle of my bat's head. Not good. Not good, not good. Alright, anyway, then you'll fill those lines in. What happens is, with the ornament, this gets bigger and bigger. So like this is 8 inches around. And then this is still only 4 inches all the way around. So everything is tighter here. So our bats and our moons are not so splayed out. So what we'll do is, and this is how you interpret a pattern. So we're not going to make this be like a big deal moment kind of deal, but let's see. Let's go off the bat tails and make our spider webs off of these bat tails. So let's drop down there, and then drop down. So we could give them points if we wanted to, so we had a thing to aim for. Okay, and then when we get our our spider webs, we're going to come straight down from the top. So that line's going to come there, and then that one's going to follow, and that one's going to follow. And then you're going to do these all arched that way. And then you want to make sure to do them nice and deep. Okay, and then they'll all follow each other that way. Okay, and so let's go ahead and do all of our lace at the bottom of our bats, and then we'll start lining it. Alright, so now we are ready. I've been talking and stuff and doing some things and running about while I've been waiting for things to dry. So the paint might be getting just a little sticky. You want to sharpen your liner to a point. Remember, don't make this great big long line as you go. We want to just go ahead and get the right remote. I have 3 remotes sitting here, and it's kind of funny. Sometimes I'll grab the air conditioner remote to turn on my, my camcorder. Anyway, so we're just going to go ahead and line from there to there, and then go from there to there. Your hand can't do, weird giant monster things, so we have to just allow it to be the size that it is. If it can, great, go for it. Okay, just one line at a time. We'll go through and we'll add all these lines right here. Remember, we're not going to worry about whether or not everything is perfect. Okay, we want to finish these up. These are the ones that are important because that's what will make it look like spider webs. Nice and deep arches, like umbrellas, kind of. It's real easy to let things get just a touch shallow, and if they're shallow, they won't look right. And then when you get ready to do these, ooh, and I want to be careful. See, you've got to decide what you're doing. If I'm making all these arches, I need to go through and finish all those arches, and then come back and add these other lines. But I wanted to show a completed section, so I didn't do that. So then we'll just make all of these little lines going this way, and they'll follow. It's just like cross-hatching. It'll follow the arch underneath. There we go. Yeah, nice spider web looking thing. You could add little spiders in there. You could put all kinds of different you could have black cats. You could do little pumpkin faces. Wouldn't it be cute to do some, eyes on these and stuff like that? So, anyway, just use your imagination. So that's one of our completed lined sections, okay? All right, so now what we have is a little bit of a separation between these elements and these elements. And I don't like that, so what I did was I came up with a little spider dangling down in between those. So just drop a line, and right here in the middle we'll make a little fat-bellied spider, and make just a couple of legs. Realistically we'd have more legs, but then you won't be able to see it. This is the fun part. This is where you get to decide stuff. Something needs to happen in here as well. I haven't decided what yet. We need a dot on our spider webs and things like that, so that'll happen next. I think we need to drop a comma stroke in here, or maybe we need to make comma strokes down here and leave that clean. And this is the fun part. This is where I cover things like this and how to design your own lace ornaments. Designing your own lace ornaments is actually something that you can do sitting in front of the TV. Once you have the fundamentals down, you can do it sitting in front of the TV and just really make one-of-a-kinds. I remember sitting at a craft show, and what I did was I had some basic styles of ornaments done, and then I would personalize them for people and add different little crazy things while they continued shopping and then came back and picked up their ornaments. You sell a lot of stuff like that if you can personalize. Alright, so what I'm going to do first, since I know that part, is I'm going to go ahead and add my little spiders. And that is going to be just with our liner brush. I went and got myself a little bit stronger pair of glasses, which is helping sort of immensely. So we'll do our legs, and the outline I'm not going to worry about so much because outlining that body, oops, you can tell when it's thicker or thinner, huh? We still have yet to do our glitter and some other things like that, so that's going to be a lot of fun. Okay, so we're waiting for other stuff to dry. You can use gloss varnish, and on matte ornaments, what you can do, it's got to be gloss. Take your brush, your round brush, and I think what I've decided is I want to have some, the gloss varnish, which is why you never varnish your ornaments, will eat away the matte finish. So what I'm going to do is I am going to put in gloss varnish. You want to kind of flatten it in your brush. And I'm going to gloss in, kind of flatten it out. And so I don't know if you can see that very well, but see, let's see if I can get you, see how shiny that one little square is, like a little mirror. It's such a cool thing that you can do, and it adds depth. The darker the bulb, the prettier that effect is. And if you need to, you can do a couple coats. I think that'll just add another dimension, almost like an electric light in there. Like it, I like it. Okay, this is what I love. I love all these little detailing, funny Googat things. You could do, once this dries, you can do details on top of the shiny areas. Definitely don't want to sprinkle any glitter over the top. Now, ooh, you know what? Let me get out another product I know about. Hang on. All right, and I don't know if they're going to stay or not. I think this may be something you'd have to play with. I took my mini dot tool. Let's talk about mini dot tools for just a second. Mini dot tools come in a 2-pack, okay? Now, the back of your paintbrush is absolutely perfectly fine the back of your paintbrush is perfectly fine for making dots with. The thing is when you need a specific size dot, like a really sharp, fine tip, like this one, you need to know which paintbrush bottom, like this is one of my finest brushes, but my bottom of my paintbrush is one of the fatter round ones that I have. These take away all that guesswork. So the number 1 is the finest, and on that tool the number 4 is going to be the smallest. And then over here, same thing, and you can make dots in any amounts of sizes. And then I've had mine so long that I've actually made them fat. I need to open up a new set because I've allowed the paint to dry on there, and they've gotten fatter. I've had them for, I don't know, as long as they've been invented, I think. But really do recommend it. And the other thing is it allows you to hold it closer instead of being way back here on the end of your brush. You can hold it with a little bit more control. I used a product that DecoArt has called Glass Stain. I put it out on my palette, and then I used my dot tool, and on those glass mirror areas I'm doing a descending dot, like little jewels with that, and you know what, it's not rolling down, it's drying and it's not rolling down my piece, so I'm thinking it's going to stay. I think it probably would be wise to not do all of them at once and let them all drip, but I can think of a lot of different applications for this effect, and I betcha, and I'll try it, I'll turn off the camera and I'll get my blow dryer out and gently put some air on top, and I'll bet those will dry real quick. Okay, I did blow dry that, and you know what, that worked fantastically. They didn't fade out, they didn't drip. That was good, because it's a little bit thinner product. It looks really, really cool. It's got a nice reflective extra little look to it. Alright, so now we need to go in with some of our black paint. So we'll get out fresh black paint. And I'll go ahead and keep with the enamel since it's a little shinier. I think the shinier works really nice with the holiday, with the fall holiday. Okay, and let's see, which tip do I want to use? I'm going to use my number 4 on the white. And now we need to drip black dots coming down here. Okay, and then we'll just do that on all of those. That's where things start looking much more finished, is when you start adding dots. And for the most part, I have never seen dots drip with paint, you know, the ones that were painted, because the edges seem to harden pretty quick first. I have seen people put their fingers in them, so you want to be careful. Don't put your fingers in dots. When you do a dot and then you do a dot and then you do another dot really quick like that, it is called a descending dot. Okay, so see, now that's starting to look a little bit richer. Okay, and now I need to go ahead, and since I think I'm going to dry this, hit it with a blow dryer. Okay, since I think I'm going to dry this with a blow dryer, I'm going to go ahead and make my dots around where the spider drips off. I'm going to use the number 2 on the yellow. Just plunk that on there. And then I'm going to hit it with a blow dryer. Okay, now time for the blow dryer. Okay, so now we get to the really, really fun part. We need to do a bunch of dots, but I'm going to do those after. The dots that we're going to do is, let's see, they're going to go on. Be careful of these thicker dots. I really, really, really recommend doing the dots last, which is why I did them already, which doesn't make any sense, but you know how it is when you're not making any sense, I guess, huh? Alright, so we're going to use some gloss varnish, and I'm looking for my paintbrush. Isn't it nice to know you're not the only one that loses your paintbrush? Okay, and now I'm trying to decide if I want to bring some purple into the middle of this. I've got a lot of space around the moons, and I'm thinking that maybe another color might be a good thing. What you want to do when you do your pattern is you want to fold a piece of paper, usually a clean one, not usually your pattern page, and then when you're going to glitter, you are going to sprinkle right on your piece of paper. So I'm going to do one of these with my purple, and I'm going to see what it looks like. I'm putting on just some gloss varnish. You could do black paint. Anything that's wet is going to hold that on there. Now let's sprinkle on our glitter. Everything else is dry enough to the touch, it's not going to capture. Now I should have painted that purple if I was going to do purple on there. And then sprinkle off. Okay, now the question is do we like it with the purple? Can I see it in the camera? Yeah, there we are. Okay, so I can't decide if I like that or not like that. So I'm going to do bats first. Okay, and then I'm going to clean up my purple glitter mess. So what you do is you fold this stuff up, get it all in there, and then you can pour it right back into your container, which, like, you know, 50% of glitter is waste when you do it, so you want to be careful about wasting, obviously. Okay, and then this is my temporary lid on my glitter, which is some tape. Obviously, we must have lost something. So, alright. So we'll go on to our bats. We know our bats are going to be black. And just sprinkle that stuff on there. And then sprinkle on your glitter, and my fingers are out. Okay. Yeah, we've got one of our bats glittered. Just starts really looking cool when you start getting the elements on there. Sigh, I can't decide. I'm going to have to go get a vote. Okay, then when you get your ornament all done, you pick up an old mop brush, and you just gently, helps if the varnish is dry. If it's not, then you're going to end up picking it off like I am, because I'm always in an all-fired hurry. Anyway, and you just mop off the excess glitter just real gently. Do it one more time when it's totally dry, and that will clean everything up. Get all that stuff kind of going away. I still have to decide what to do with this empty space. I decided against the purple glitter on my moon, although the ladies in New York who took a class with me mixed a little bit of when they put it back in, so I've got a little bit of purple sprinkled in there, which is maybe a good idea. Just mix a little bit of your purple glitter in. So I think, yeah, that's good. Alright, we'll get that stuff off. Now, what we've got to do, I'm just going to push this off to the side. What we've got to do now is do some dots. Okay, where is a little dot tool? Let's put the lid on the glitter. Okay, so we're going to do some dots with black. We're going to use our fine tip. And we want to do dots on the bottoms of all over. I think maybe a little bit bigger dot. Let's get you in closer. With bigger dots on the bottoms. Maybe even like a descending dot kind of pattern. Ooh, dripping dots. That's not good. And then we'll switch back to the really tiny dot. And on that one, you can do, you want to descending dot going up. And that doesn't absolutely have to outline. You don't have to hit each exactly line. Some of you are going to want to, but some of you are going to be like, yeah, I don't want to. Okay. And repeat that all the way around. Make sure you wipe off your dot tools so that you can clean it up. And we've got to do the same thing on up in this area, but I got to do something else. So I think I'm going to concentrate down here until I figure out what I want to do. And so then just keep on going. Alright, so I've got my dots all on my spider webs. And I think what we need up here is we probably need some comb strokes. So I'm going to get some fresh paint out. And then we can glitter our commas if we want to. I'm going to give time for let's get something skinnier to make a comma with. Yikes. Okay, maybe we're not making any skinny commas today. Get a little bit of water. Okay, so let's go ahead and I think let's make them coming out every old which way here. And that'll give us some weight. We need some more weight. Okay, and just, I'm not even having to bring these things to a tail because the line is already there. Okay, now that one's all wonky and off to the side, but I'll kind of split the difference with it. I'll center it a little bit more. These top details, you can do a whole ton of things to finish them and fix. Glitter fixes almost anything. I've seen these ornaments sponged because people put their fingers through their dots on the bottoms and kept painting like I'm doing right now. But when you do that, just be creative and come up with another thought of how you could disguise a boo-boo. Okay, so I'm liking that. That's got more weight on it now, but now I'm not liking the top. So I think what I want to do up there is carefully place my fingers. And I think what I want to do, what do I want to do? I think I want to wait till it's dry. I don't think this is going to work so good, so I'm going to wait till it's dry and we'll see where we get.